Hey guys, it's your boy Pat. Welcome back to the next episode of the Hollow Down Cigar Lounge. Got another badass show for you guys today. I'm going to show you the friends we got. We got down below your homie Chad,
How you
and
guys
first
doing?
time on the show, but in the group, is Kevin from Cigar Prop. What's going on, brother?
What's happening, man?
Good to have you,
We've
Kevin.
Oh, it's good to be here.
we've been looking forward to doing this show, and if you guys are in the Facebook group, you probably already know why he's here today. We'll get into that. But before we do, Chad and I felt it was only appropriate to smoke and light up a cigar that is going away from Trash Panda, which is also Kevin's Cigar Group. This is the Laces Out. And we felt like that was a good reason to smoke one of these because we both have some.
I love the band on this thing too.
I do
Oh,
like
it's my favorite. It's my favorite. Just the
I just
whole concept.
I just figured out that it's Ace Ventura themed. It just eluded me until I read something on your site about it, and I was like, "Oh, that makes
Oh yeah,
sense."
laces out, Dan.
And then the whole, green and Miami
Oh yeah.
Dolphins color theme, and
Yeah, I got the Miami reference, but I did not get anything else until a non-smoking friend of mine pointed it out. So I felt like an idiot too. You're not alone, Chad.
Oh yeah, like I said, me and my buddies. It was if we mentioned something about being under pressure at work or at home, one of us will have to say, "What do you know about pressure?" Like pressure. Well, I have kissed a man, So it's just our. I mean, there's 1,000 references from that movie you can use.
that's a good one.
I got a buddy Brett that used to be on the show. Does the same thing with Anchorman, so that's his
Oh
thing.
yeah, oh yeah.
He said, "I'll have to find the clip. We got it somewhere." He said that there's there you could probably make an entire line of cigars just out of names from Anchorman. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt, you could.
that would be a fun thing to do. But well, Kevin, not to put you on the spot, but I am going to put you on the spot for one thing. Usually, we kind of intro the cigar before we start saying what we felt about it. But since you're here, instead of reading it off the website, I figured to ask you what your opinion and initial insights were for this blend when you made it, and kind of tell us whatever you want to say about it before we kind of give us our opinions.
I just wanted a good cigar, so I had James at Sinistro, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, make me a good cigar," and he did. That's it. I'm not a blender. I'm not going to be one of these guys, one of these cigar company owners that say, "Oh, I worked with this guy, worked with this guy. We went back and forth." No, I'm not a blender.
Right.
If I get a cigar and I don't like it, there's a pretty good chance I'm not going to be able to articulate well enough to you why I don't like it. Like, I'm not going to say, well, can we pull out half a leaf of Viso and replace that with a full leaf of Seiko, or, let's try whatever third priming from this farm. That's not me. I'd be like,
Right.
this cigar kind of sucks, bro. Can you do better? Or if the cigar's like, or like it's way too spicy. I don't know how to tell you to make it unspicy. Just unspicy it for me, please. So I reached out to James. We were actually we're only going to do one project, and that's our other cigar, the cigar, the real good trash. And he sent me a bunch of samples, of just stuff that he's had in his little black book, stuff that he wants to do for himself, but he knows he's probably never going to get to it because all cigar blenders have that little black book with 1,000 blends that they're never going to produce, or not, because there's just not enough time. So he dug through his book. He pulled me out some cigars because we're friends, and I picked like 3 fantastic cigars. But I didn't want to do 3, so I'm like, we'll do 2. We'll just go ahead and do 2 cigars instead of just doing the one. I couldn't leave another one on the table. So and that cigar ended up being a real good trash, and then this one laces out, and then this one uses the Dominican broadleaf, which he used on his 10-year anniversary cigar. So he had just enough left to roll me like 1,000 or 1,500, however many we did, and like that was it. Like there was no more, no more available. So it's like
I remembered
that's
you
all.
saying something that there was a part of this that's why it was limited. I didn't remember that that's what it was.
Yeah, because that Dominican broadleaf, it's Ram Rodriguez at Artista Cigars is like growing the broadleaf in the Dominican, and like it's still like kind of in the experimental stage. They're still, I guess, trying to get it ramped up. So I wanted this one to be one and done because the next crop, if it turned out to be different, the cigar is going to be different. Just like I didn't want people like, oh, hey, I liked the old ones. I'm like, I'll take whatever you can roll with your existing leaf, and then we'll just call it a one and done.
That's fair. That's a good statement. Well,
I was going to ask that same question about why it was going to be discontinued soon, but that's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You're running out of cigars.
Yep.
That we are.
And that's one of the reasons when we talked about doing something. I wasn't going to only review it with you on the show, but good time because we know that it's going to go away. So while we still have some of them, felt like a good reason to bring it out because I know I've smoked a few of these before. Chad, have you had any yet? Or
This
is
is my first time smoking this. Yep, for sure.
Okay. I don't want to say my comments too early and bias you because I've had it before, other than the fact that I like it. But as we get in a little bit, I'll kind of bring it back. But so we'll circle back around and see what you think about it here in a little bit. But
the first thing I noticed when I looked at this cigar that I liked was the wrapper.
Yep,
and it's sexy because the color transitions to me, like when you look at that wrapper real close, at least mine, transition from like almost black in spots to like the dark brown. Like there was a lot of color transition. Is yours like that?
There's
very visible transitions.
And if you look, go ahead.
I love that. If anybody's watched my old cigar reviews in the past, I love that mottled black and brown, that rustic look. I don't want a beautiful padron silky wrapper. That's not me. I'm just a rustic, rube, and like just give me something that looks like it was rolled in the dirt. And as long as it tastes good, I'm fine.
Gives it some character, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is going to show up. If not, I'll overlay a picture here. But because I know how the thing focuses. But if you're looking real close to this band, it's probably not going to do this justice. So I'll just load a picture up here. But not only does it have those color differences, if you look real close, it laces out. It's football themed. There's numbers and hash marks on the band. And on the other side, there's actually a play drawn out. So there's some.
Oh, really?
Look on your left side of the helmet.
I'll be 100% honest with you. I didn't know that there were hash marks on that band until like it was months later. I was smoking one, and I just happened to look. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, that was super cool. I just gave him an idea of what I wanted. I had my designer do the helmet and everything else, and then their designers took it over from there. But yeah, I'm like, oh, that was super cool. I noticed the play.
Surprise out of it.
Yeah, I was surprised. So but that's just I don't I don't want to nitpick every little thing. I just want a good cigar. I want a good cigar at a good price so I can offer it to my followers at a good price. I don't want to nitpick every little detail about the cigar. And luckily, I said I got a friend that owns a cigar company, James at Sinistro. Like he's not going to screw me. He's not going to give me something bad. So I was able to have free reins with that. Or he was able to have free reins, and he knows what I liked, and I just took whatever he gave me.
Kevin, is that how you pronounce that? Because that's something that I've never known. I always pronounced it Sinistro. And I think most people looking at it would pronounce it that way. So is it Sinistro?
Yeah, Sinistro, yeah.
Okay. What would you say, Pat? Like if you were just looking at that word, I always said Sinistro.
I said Sinistro until a month or two ago when Henderson corrected me in person. He said Sinistro. So I said Sinistro until I heard it from his mouth too. So I was right there with you.
It's kind of how phonetically it looks like Sinistro.
Well, yeah, because it looks because you pronounce it sinister, you know,
Right.
so you would
Right.
think, you know, Sinistro, but yeah. But
That's probably where my mind went.
Now,
yeah,
is
see,
Sinistro down in Florida?
So James is based in California, and then
Okay.
his partner Coleman is based out of like Pennsylvania.
Right on.
Well, we're not going to do this yet for those that are watching. Going to have to hang out a little bit longer. But the reason we decided to bring Kevin on now, and honestly, we talked about doing it sooner, but we purposely waited for today because if you are part of our Facebook group, we are partnered with Cigars for Warriors. You'll see their link pop up a few times on the show at the bottom as well. For those that don't know, we do 2 drives a year with them. We're not a brick and mortar. We're an online presence, so we don't have a place for you to just drop in and donate cigars. So we do a drive a couple years from the group, and every time we've done this drive, we've gotten bigger. And we try to do some sort of kickback giveaway, and it changes every time. And this time it was sponsored. Kevin Shahan hooked us up. There is some Trash Panda cigars in there. There's several Cigar Prop items in there that we're going to show you guys again a little bit. But everybody that donated 20 cigars or more on this drive got an entry. So we're going to spin that wheel in a little bit and see who actually gets this swag from Kevin here in a little bit as a thank you guys for for supporting this drive. So good reason to stall and make this our first time getting Kevin on the show with us, and couldn't find a better reason to make it for the day one.
Yeah, I felt like we had a lot of good engagement this time, which was great. And I don't know if you mentioned the number. I didn't think you did, but we got to 500 cigars this time. So
wow,
which was pretty good for our little small group.
It is because we just recently got over 500 people in the group. The YouTube subscribers are not even that high yet because we started this just over 2 years ago. Just 4 or 5 of us in another group, including Chad, met up and kind of started this thing. So the first time we did it, I think we had 17 cigars, and it was like me and 2 people doing a couple. We didn't know how the process was going to work, so we're like, let's make sure it's going to work first. I'd already talked to CFW, and we kind of planned it out, but every time we've gone, we've got a little bit. And, the last time was 400, this time was 500. So it's nice to see it going up as the group grows, especially considering none of that stuff sticks with us. I'm just holding it until the group sends off, we send off a big package, which this time was just under 25 pounds of cigars. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank God you do that too, because I don't want 500 cigars sitting around my house that I can't smoke. Like just having a storage place for all that stuff. You've got random boxes and packages everywhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, totes and boxes and extra bags and, humidification packs everywhere. But hey, it's worth it. So and it's kind of cool to see what all comes in that everybody's donating, just as a fun thing to look at it before we box it up. So
all right.
Yeah, figure out what people don't want to smoke. So
yeah, you do learn a lot of that. All the pictures come in, like, yeah, they didn't like that. Doesn't surprise me. Didn't like that.
Yeah, I just put together a little 5 or 6 pack of cigars for my pest control guy that's coming out tomorrow, and he smokes. And Jessica's looking at him. She's just shaking her head. I go, man, he might like those.
Right.
They're all like name brand. Like one of them's an EP Carrillo. And that one just didn't hit my palate, so I mean they're all name brand, they're just cigars I didn't like. So
and somebody's gonna like what you don't, or that cigar wouldn't still be in existence. So at some point,
exactly. People make fun of Gurkha. They're still in business, making millions of cigars. So somebody's smoking them.
Yep,
that's right.
Like personally, there's like 2 out of the entire brand that I like, but somebody likes the other 98.
Yeah, like you said before, Pat, it doesn't matter if you a bad cigar is better than no cigar.
That is true.
So if you're riddled with the fact that you have no cigar or a cigar you're not real fond of, you're going to smoke the cigar you're not real fond of.
Yeah,
I will every time.
I've also been pissed off when you get a bad cigar and it's just it's just like sure. God,
That there's a few. The recent one we've been bashing is the Quorum. That might be the one exception we wouldn't smoke, but
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
bad.
it's but you got to know what you're getting with that cigar.
Oh,
The
facts.
guys that I've got old guys that I know like in their 70s. They buy them by the bundle. They know what they're getting. They can't
Yep.
afford premium cigars anymore, so they just smoke corn. If they get halfway down one and it blows up or something, they throw it out, grab another
Right.
one.
It's $2,
It is what it is. Yeah, exactly.
and there, and we kind of started talking about it on, discussing yard guards and stuff like that, which, um, at some point we talked about this, probably do like the top 5 yard guards that we each have, just to purposely talk about the cheapos. But that's how we got on that conversation. That I tried to stretch, and I was trying to find something positive to say, and I think the only thing I got out was the word okay. And Chad was
Yeah,
not happy.
I can't tell you the last time I had a quorum. Maybe 5 years or more. I don't know, but and I don't have yard guards. I don't. If I'm busy hustling doing some stuff, I don't smoke.
Same.
I do try and enjoy my cigar. Like if I'm out in my workshop building something, like I'll have a cigar there. But if I'm running around the house, doing something in my office, back and forth outside, I just wait. I wait until I sit down or take a break and have a cigar. These guys that can mow their grass with a cigar in their mouth, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I give you
That's me,
you
man.
props. I can't do it. It's all the smokes in my face all the time, like doing something and setting it down, and it hits the ground, and it's like I don't know. I guess I'm just not coordinated.
It's a challenge sometimes, I agree, but like more when I'm doing like weed whipping and stuff, I like to have one. But then I can kind of go
Yeah,
like this, and I try
yeah,
not. But you're right. If you wrong angle, you got a whole face full of smoke, and it's not pleasant. So
I'm
yeah.
the same way. I can't mow the grass and do it because I'm using both hands. I need the cigar to come in and out of my mouth. I just can't do it. But there's some, and you'll understand this. There's some mechanic jobs that I can smoke while I'm doing, but most of them I can't because my hands are dirty, oily, they're busy. Even those I can kind of sneak one every once in a while. But most of the time, if I'm yard going, it's a project at the house where I can set it down, come back to it type of thing. I'm not just straight up working. So
Yeah, if I'm at the shop, I can smoke a cigar in my shop if I really wanted to. At work, they're not going to care. And I have in the past, but it's rare because my toolbox is right behind me. But then I mean,
right,
I'm lighting it 6, 8, 10, 12 times. Because I said once your arms are in something, you can't,
you're
and it's
stuck.
just you just get frustrated from relighting it because then it gets bitter and. Then you end up throwing it out halfway through and you piss away like $6.
Right.
yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I just recently saw your most recent video about your new cigar. So I
Yeah.
thought maybe it would be a good platform for you to kind of roll that out.
Yeah, that's the our newest one. I got the packaging right here. It's Grace O'Malley, the Pirate Queen. So
Ooh.
sticking with our Irish heritage, our Irish roots, I wanted to come out with another cigar. Actually, we had the guys from Single Barrel Cigar Company on our show, and after the show, it got me thinking. I'm like, oh man, I'd love to do something with those guys. I'm digging what they're doing with barrel aging the cigars, and then just spitballing ideas with Jessica, and then came out with I just was thinking pirates. I'm like, have there been any Irish pirates? I was like, is that something you think about? And then
No.
started googling it, and they came across Grace O'Malley, and what an
Huh.
unbelievable story she has. So I'm like, yeah, let's do Grace O'Malley Pirate Queen. We'll age them in rum, or there'll be rum barrel aged cigars, and then with each cigar, you actually get a little you know pirate
Cannon
cannon,
stand.
a
I
cannon
saw
base.
that.
Oh, that's cool.
So it looks like a pirate cannon.
That's very
So
cool. Yep.
super cool. So yeah, I was super stoked with that. Reach out to a few manufacturers, and it's some manufacturers don't want if they're going to make a cigar for you, they want you to give that cigar to the general public the way they made it. And I completely understand that. Some people are like, oh, we're really not into, messing with the cigar afterwards, like barrel aging it or putting a sweetened tip on it if you do that yourself or anything else. So, and I completely understood that, and then, reached out to my buddy Risty over at JSK Cigars, and Risty's all about just not being the norm and just bucking industry trends. And he's like, I'm down, man. I am down. So created a blend for us, and it surprisingly, knock on wood, worked out well with the with the rum, the rum barrel age we got with the guys from Single Barrel. Went over the blend with them, and they're like, okay, so let us pick you out a barrel, that we think is going to go well with that cigar. So they reached out to their buddies at Big Storm Brewery in Tampa. So they actually got it was a Sazerac rye barrel that was sent over to Myers Rum. Then Myers Rum aged their rum in it, and then that many barrels, not just one. And then those barrels went over to Tampa to Big Storm Distillery, and they aged their rum in it. So it's got, the barrel's got two different rums and a rye. And
that's interesting by itself too.
Yeah. So and one thing they did different from my cigar than what they normally do, because normally the barrels are straight up and down, and they'll pack the cigars in there. I don't know if they rotate them or not, on occasion. I forgot, I can't remember that from the show. But on mine, they laid the barrel flat because I didn't have enough cigars to fill the barrel. So what they did is they just laid them down, and then like every day they went in and they rolled the barrel like a quarter of a turn, like barely. So just over the course of
contact change.
Yeah. So, over the course of 12 or 14, I don't even know how long it's been now, 12 weeks or so, that barrel has rotated completely around many times. Every single cigar at one point has been in contact with the side of the barrel.
Because when did you post that they had those? Was it November-ish? I'm trying to remember.
Was it? I can't remember if it was October or November. Yeah, it may have been around November that they.
I remember you posting the pictures with the barrels, but I don't remember. I don't know. I feel like that was somewhere around that time.
Well, I remember seeing these are the same cigars you stored in the coolers, right? Like you made those.
Yeah. I had them in the coolers for a long time. So November 11th is when I posted that.
Okay. Hey, my memory.
How long were they stored at your place, Kevin, before you actually took them over to have them barrel aged?
Oh God.
Because didn't you build like special racks in your coolers for them?
Oh, for those, no. I put those in a like an igloo cooler that I lined with 1 inch thick cedar all the way around the sides and the bottom. So I had those in mind for months, maybe 3 or 4 months, because I wanted to get the humidity level down. Because I said when you get cigars from a factory, especially in Dominican or Nicaragua, they always come in moist. Because they got to ship them because they don't. They could be sitting on a plane, they could be sitting on a ship, for a month at a time. They sit in a warehouse. So as the humidity level comes down, they'll come down to a normal, where we like to smoke them. But these came to me right away. So they were pretty moist. So I wanted the excess humidity to bleed off so it would absorb, more of the, the flavor notes from the barrel itself. And then, the barrel's in a warehouse in Florida, probably 90%, humidity in that warehouse. So I wanted to get those goes down to at least 60%. I think we got them down to 62 or 64% humidity before we put them in the barrel.
That's cool. I really like this cigar, Kevin. I'm really disappointed I hadn't tried it before, to be honest with you.
That Dominican broadleaf, some people like it, some people don't, but that's like any it's like any cigar, like I don't like all cigars either. Some people are like, I like it, but it's weird. And I'm like, I'll give you that. It's a weird
am I crazy, or does it have a spicy and floral note at the same time? Is that?
Yeah, it's going to have a little bit of floral because it does use a Dominican Piloto Cubano binder, and then it does use some fillers from the Dominican as well. And Dominicans normally have a little bit more of a floral note to the tobacco from what I've done. Sure. And then you get that little bit of spicy from the broadleaf because it does have broadleaf in the filler as well. I think a USA broadleaf. in the filler, so you get that little bit of spicy from that.
And I was kind of waiting for you to say anything, Chad, but that's pretty much the two notes that I get. It's just like general, like almost like an aged tobacco, but not quite deep age. But I get that just a little bit of spice, and I can't pick out what it is on the floral notes, but it that's the two notes that I hit primarily as well.
Yeah, I had to watch the first quarter inch because when I retroed it, it made my eyes water a little bit. But as soon as I broke through there, it was pretty good. Now it's tamed right down, so it's actually really pleasant. So
It does have a surprising retro hit that I would not expect to feel. It's pretty cool.
like stronger than you thought, or you're
Yeah,
saying
stronger than I thought.
okay?
I figured it'd be there with the spice, but it's not like a judge punch, mind you, but it's still there. It's stronger than expected, but pleasant.
Yeah, this could be one of those if you had time for one cigar in your day. This is like a one and done for me because it's strong enough. You can tell it's got the nicotine. I can feel it. Like
Yep.
so, it's definitely strong enough to be a one and done.
I'm the ones that I have left will be stretching out over time to see how long I can. I would like to say I would let some of them age and come back to them down the road, but I know I'm not that good at holding on to things for a long time. But I will stretch them as I can. But
Did you ever try the Back in Black I did with Espinosa?
no, I missed that one.
No.
Like that was a cigar that I had some trouble smoking. I mean, I had to know that was a cigar I wanted, for the day, because man, it was. People smoke that are like
Super
they
strong.
know I'm not a super strong guy, and they're like,
Mhm.
damn, and I'm like, that's the way it came out. I've got like 2 bundles left that have been aging for a couple of years now, so every now and then I go in there and they're beautiful right now. But I'm hoping that's a project we redo this year. So
Have they
I'd
tamed
like to-
down a little bit with age, Kevin?
Oh yeah, they've tamed down, and they're absolutely beautiful cigars right now. They're smoking so well. So
Yep.
I'd like to bring that one back this year. So
If they come back, I'll definitely have to try that because that's one I definitely
Yeah.
missed.
So how many
Yeah.
of the laces out do you still have currently on your site? Or how many do you have left for sale?
we can't have 100 of them for sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're yeah, that's got to be about right around 100 of them. So
And the Grace O'Malley's come out in March.
yeah, we're gonna try and release those March 1st in time, so you can have them in time for St. Patrick's Day. Because we were actually supposed to release them like in a week for Gasparilla, which is the Pirate Festival here in Tampa Bay, and they the project just fell behind. Like we just the aging, we just they kept testing them, and then I tested them, and we just need more time. And I didn't want to rush it. It was just one of those things. If it misses its mark, who cares?
Yep.
I'm not going to push a cigar out, when it's not right. It's
I like
it's
that.
just-
That approach
just-
is better than guys rushing it.
Agreed.
yeah, exactly. And the cigar was done. I mean, the cigar itself was done. It's got at this point probably 9 or 10 months of age on the cigar itself. So it's a great. But we wanted to be able to taste the rum that's in there. We definitely don't want it to be overpowering. So I think we've hit a fine line where you can still taste the nuances of the cigar itself. So.
Let the rum enhance it, but not take it over.
There's a
Yeah, let
question,
the rum
'cause
enhance it. I tell people, I say, if you're going to buy a 5-pack, I smoke one right away, and then see how you like the others. If it's too much rum, if it's too much, which some people don't like infused or any type of, just dry box it. Set it out on your desk for a couple days. Like I said, that a lot of that's going to bleed off, and
Right.
evaporate off, and it's going to get a little tamer.
How long did you wait before you smoked the first one after you aged it in the barrels?
It was a full month. Yeah, I think almost to the day. It was almost a full month before they pulled the 5-pack out to give to me to try, and then they tried themselves, and then obviously they're testing them throughout the process to get
Is it
that
stronger
right.
at that point, Kevin? Like a month
No,
out, is
no.
it stronger, or is it?
No, it wasn't strong enough. Like you could, the cigar was good. The flavor was very mild, like on the rum. and we definitely wanted more of that rum note. So it's why they had to go longer.
Makes sense. Well, what do you guys feel about finding out who's going to get some free shit?
Yeah.
I can wait.
You know, wait,
Yeah, I don't care.
Like making them wait.
Making them wait.
Yeah.
Well, like we did the last time, we waited, like we said it like 4 times. We're gonna bring it up. Watch the show, man. No, we'll do it. So we'll bring it back around, and I've got this. I'm gonna overlay this picture so you can see a little bit better. But right here, I've got this lovely pack of stuff that Kevin sent to me. There's the wifey saying hello, as she always does from behind the camera.
Hi, Ellen.
Hello, Ellen. So I'm going to show this. I'm going to show this overlay. And this is just rough retail. There's about 140 something dollars worth of stuff here. You've got, some laces out cigars, laces out towel, stickers. There's, cutter, the bleed tool, the punch, the number. You've got all this stuff coming in one package that Kevin hooked us up with, supporting this. So this image that you're going to see right here is everybody that is on the entries for this drive. So how we did this one is everybody that sent in $20 20 cigars or more, or if you did the cash equivalent, you got an entry. And out of everybody that donated, we did have some smaller entries. These are the family members that got it. So you got Justin E, two Justins on here. So Justin E, you got Gil, VL, Rob, Spindle, Nick, Justin L, and Ryan. So we're gonna spin this one in a minute, and wherever this goes, y'all are seeing it live. Wait, it's that way. See, we're back to this pointing thing. So whoever wins this is gonna get all this, and I'll ship it out to you. What do you think? Should we spin it or let them look at it for a minute?
Yeah, let's spin it.
Yeah, might as well just spin it.
All right, so let's see who's gonna get this live. So we have no idea what's about to happen. Let's go.
Drum roll.
BL. That's Mr. Swoop.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And Kevin, if you don't know who this guy is, he smokes probably, including yourself, he may smoke more cigars than you do. And I know that's a freaking challenge and a half.
He does smoke a lot.
Yeah, I got a full-time job, so I don't get to smoke as many as I want.
Me too, brother.
We sometimes tell VL that we think his job is to smoke cigars, so we're kind of a little jealous.
He's going through 7 or 8 a day sometimes. That's a chore.
Yeah, I always get 2 a day, always.
Right.
The weekends, if it's a pretty mild weekend, I might get through 6 or 7 in a weekend. When I was down for 9 months with my knee injury, I was smoking 10 to 12 a day. And people, and people say, you always heard that myth. Oh, after like 5 or 6, your palate gets fried for the day and you can't smoke anything else. And I tell people, you'd be surprised. I could smoke 12 in a day, and that 12th one, I could taste every bit as much of it as that first one. But it took a while. It took months and months of smoking that many a day because I didn't have anything to do. My knee was in a big brace, sitting around. What am I going to do? I'm going to smoke cigars all day long, So, but yeah, after a while, yeah, your palate doesn't get. I don't know what the point is. It's got to be 15, 20 cigars. I mean, there's got to be a point where you can't taste anything at all. There has to be the point of no return.
I think some of it has to do with smoking experience too. Like the longer you've been smoking, the more like you can smoke 2 or 3 a day and then go right to 6, and you're gonna taste every one of those cigars. So to your point, when you smoke 10 in a day, it's just a lot of that's just your smoking experience, I think.
And very equivalent. I just shared the 15-year memory of my knee surgery as well. that was about the time I started smoking cigars. Like I'm talking maybe by a matter of months. I just got into cigars before that injury happened, and so I didn't have excuse me, I didn't have a big, expansive palate. I hadn't learned everything yet. I think we've talked about it. I started with the acid, so that's kind of really all I knew. And I tried smoking several a day sitting outside, but if I got more than two or three back then, I just couldn't do it. So now I
Well,
could now I could smoke all day long and be perfectly fine. So,
Oh yeah,
that's
and
what I
and,
think. The
and,
longer
and,
you
and it,
smoke,
yeah, and
for
I
sure.
can smoke at any time. Like I could,
right.
if I gotta get up to go to the airport or something at 3 o'clock in the morning, I just light up a cigar. I'm smoking
Yep.
at 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight. Doesn't make any difference. I
Yep.
people find it mind boggling that I did so many videos with my knee injury, and usually always breakfast videos, and I make these huge elaborate meals, and I just talking, eating, smoking,
Yep.
all like this circus that I was doing. People are like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I love food and cigars at the same time. I love pairing food and cigars.
Yeah, I think that's. I like to smoke. Right now, it's -1 here, Kevin, so I'm not smoking outside, obviously. But in the spring and fall, I love sitting outside, and I'll make my dinner, take it out there, and smoke. And people, my wife even looks at me she's like, "Why do you want to do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just like it. Whatever. I
Yeah,
like it."
Yeah, I don't know how you do that weather thing, man. I'm a Southern boy, true and true, and it's like this past week, it's been between like 35 and 25. It's like floating that freezing line, and I'm over it. Like I'm out in the garage right now with the infrared heater, and I've been sucking it up in the tent. I
That's,
can't do this cold weather thing, man.
I sent Pat a picture of the weather here in Michigan, and it's -1, feels
No
like
sir,
-13.
no
And I
sir.
got a heater on both sides of me right
yeah.
now. There's infrared
I mean,
heater and propane heater.
it was cold here in Florida, but it was cold and rainy, which sucks. I hate when it's
Yeah,
cold and rainy, but it was probably 50 all day, and I was miserable. So
yep.
had my jacket on all day, and hate working in a jacket. I'd rather be a mechanic and sweating and just have my regular shirt on than having a jacket, and you're
Yep.
just bulky and trying
It's
to
in the
it's a
way.
pain. It's always in the way.
Yeah, I'd rather be sweaty than cold too, no
Yeah.
doubt. But yeah, so like Kevin, how long have you been? How long have you had your platform on YouTube?
God.
It's been a long time, right?
Yeah, because I've got a couple of channels that go back 20 years, but
Oh,
the cigar channel, it's got to be 9 years. I think I started that when Jessica and I were kind of dating. I think we've been together for like 9 years now, so that channel is probably right at about 9 years old.
I knew it'd been around a while,
is
but I
your
wasn't
tech
sure.
tips older? Is your tech tips older than Cigar Prop?
No, the tech tips are just a couple of years. Maybe I think I've only been doing those about 2 years. I used to have a beard care company, Irish Beard Balm. We're
Yep.
actually getting ready to relaunch that March 1st as well. Actually, we might be relaunching that earlier. So yeah, so
See that
I
in the
would do
background right there too.
what's that? Yeah, there's
Right behind you.
the tin. There's the sign that I dug out and put back up, and so I used to do beard product reviews way back in the day. So I mean, I've always been reviewing some kind of shit my whole life. It seems like, so yeah. So I used to do beard reviews, and I did it. So before everybody knew me as Kevin from Cigar Prop, like I said, I could be out in the middle of wherever, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, and people are like, "Are you Kevin from Irish Beard Balm?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah, that's me.
So yeah, so now it's just Kevin from Cigar Prop.
Right on.
I will. This is completely unrelated, but I just popped my band off, and we throw credit where it's due. Whoever is actually doing the bands on these, fantastic, because it didn't tear my
I,
cigar up.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't want either. I think some people say that they're a little too loose. I'm like, I'd rather have a loose band than to have a band that
Agreed.
tears my cigar or a band that I can't get off. And I just had
Yep.
one. I don't know if it was up here. Must be in my office. And I destroyed the band trying to get it off. And I'm like, damn it, because we save all of our bands for projects. And,
Right.
and I always bust Bradley Rubin because hands down he's got the worst band ever.
I slid mine off.
Yeah, on the Filthy Hooligan and the Shamrock.
Oh,
Like you can't. There's nobody. I mean, you have to cut the cigar out of it if you want to save that band.
I know.
But,
I usually end up taking my number tool and like using the pickup to like cut it off.
That's the one thing I'll say about the brand I like almost the most is Adventura. Their bands, their paper bands, do not come off. Like just
Yeah. What about that metal band they have?
The metal one is an art, and I smoked so many of those. Henderson showed me how to take them off. Like you pick back and forth, and it works really well. It's like 2 times, flip over to this corner 2 times, just back and forth, and it comes right off. But the paper ones, you cannot get off. Like they don't come off. I don't know what they use for glue, but it's like cement.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. All the Grace O'Malley's, I have to ban those myself. So Jessica and I are gonna hopefully we don't screw these things up. So but we'll
what do you use?
See.
Like what type of glue? Is it a glue or you don't use a pectin, right?
We're gonna use pectin on those. Just because it's if you burn through the band like some people do, and you don't want to be smoking the glue. At least the pectin's an all natural product, and if it gets on the cigar, it's not a big deal. So we got
wrappers, and I want to admit
I hear you. I'll be doing. I'm like, what does that smell? And then it's like, I look down and there's that wrapper.
Oh, it's starting to taste like shit. What's going on?
Yeah.
That's what happens. What does that taste?
Some of them bands, you're like, what they put in this? Because this isn't paper. Because man, this is bitter. So
I tend to do that when
dye or something.
Driving.
Yeah.
Because I'll, especially driving at night or whatever, and I'll forget to look down and I'll taste the difference. Like, well, crap.
Yeah.
That's when it happens to me when I'm on the porch late at night. And it's 11 o'clock, and I'm just sitting there smoking away. Next thing you know, something starts tasting weird.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Well, this is now that we're down to the end of it, just I always like to give my last third comments as well. I've gotten like just a hair bit more of spice, but the note and flavor profile for me has stayed absolutely consistent, other than just that subtle increase in spice. So I'm down for it because I like complex cigars, but I do like just a straight good, just flavored badass cigar. And this is where
a little cocoa too, I think, in there. I mean, the florals kind of dropped off, and it's more pepper and cocoa now. But
yeah, and I'm not a big one for I don't get a ton of flavors out of cigars. I say usually 2 to 3, and that's most manufacturers I talk to as well. They're like, man, sometimes we'll get 2. If we get 2, we're fine. I'm not a big one on transitions. Like some people, like there's reviewers out there that will give negative points on a cigar if it doesn't transition.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that's just dumb. I'm not a big transition guy. If I'm smoking it and I get something new, I'm like, oh hey, that's a nice surprise. I got a little chocolate there halfway through. That's pretty nice. I'm digging that. But if the cigar is, as long as it's good at the beginning, and it stays the same, there's some people, like some cigars, the first 30, you got to muscle through it. But once you get to, I'm like, no, I don't want to muscle through it. I want it good at the beginning, and I'm happy with a cigar that just stays consistent throughout.
Yeah. This one 100% is that too. It's very consistent.
Yeah, I'm not asking James of like, hey, I need this to transition here and there, and then it's just like, nah.
I've always wondered, every once in a while I get a cigar where I can pull out, a fourth note, but usually it's 2 or 3 for me as well. And I sometimes laugh, and I understand some guys have better, stronger, more experienced palates, but sometimes I'll read reviews and they've got like 17 flavor notes listed down to, I'm like, sometimes I feel like it's a reach.
They're lying. No. I'm that guy in the industry that, I don't care if people think of me. They're lying. You have some odd ones out. Charlie Minata from Half Wheel has an odd palate. I mean, he is a super taster. My friend Val Bradshaw, she lives in Canada. She's a wine sommelier, a cigar sommelier. She has what's called a super palate. She can get that, but that's what she's trained her whole life to do.
Right.
Is to pull these notes out of whatever it is she's consuming. So yeah, there are people like that, but those are a rare breed of people. When you're talking to like Henderson, who is a master blender, if he's getting 2 or 3, it's what is this average schmuck getting 12? Nah, he's just pulling shit out of his ass just to build himself up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can run into one that I agree. If you're kind of keeping more like broad profiles, and you're like, okay, we're tasting cocoa, some espresso, some leather, some wood, floor, down with that. When you start trying to tell me what species of flower it is that you're pulling out of it, I kind of start
hibiscus.
Yeah. Hibiscus. I first thought it was rose, but then I'm like, after I really think it's a hibiscus. So
little too much there. Your credibility starts slipping for me a little bit.
Yeah, your honesty is one of the things I like, Kevin, because I know going back in some of your videos, you talk about when people send you cigars, you're like, don't send me a cigar if you don't want me to honestly review it, because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I think, and which I love right?
That's it. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I think, and for the most part, that's been good for us because people know that I'm honest on my reviews, and we do get manufacturers that send us cigars, that send me cigars, and they're like, tell me what my friends keep telling me this is good, and I think it's off, and I had one manufacturer, it's probably going back maybe a year and a half ago, and he sent me some cigars, and I wrote up like this little report for him, and almost it's not good, bro. It's just like, I even weighed the cigar, and I'm like, your cigar's 3 grams lighter than every other comparable cigar I found. Like I picked out the package, I'm like, what is this?
Like it's missing something.
Like I said, it was missing something, and then wrote him up the report, and then I didn't hear from him for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh god, like I pissed him off. Finally got back to me, and he's like, sorry. He goes, everything you said, I was thinking the exact same thing. And he goes, but everybody kept telling me that I was crazy. Like they kept telling me, like, those don't ever send those people cigars again. You need to.
They're telling you what they think you want to hear instead of telling you the truth.
Yeah, that's it. So. But yeah, you just got to be honest, because it doesn't do anybody any good, right, to not be honest, So
right. And your opinion's not the end all be all, right? Like you just know you're one dude, and I'm just telling you what I think, right?
That's it. And that's why people used to love the cigar reviews that Jessica and I did together, because you got the same cigar and you got 2 completely different views. They got to a point to where if Jessica said that she loved a cigar, people were like, I'm on team Jessica. Like everything she has said, I've loved, but the same thing, team Kevin. If Kevin says it's good, I'm gonna buy that, and it's rare that we had the same opinion on cigars, so you got to see that, in a review from 2 separate people, and it worked.
That's the principle when I started this, and of course the first 20 episodes or whatever were some friends here in person, and then it extended when we started the remote with Chad and Ron and the guys, and it's always been the principle of like, I can pop on here and review a cigar myself, but I like having whether it's one person, 2, 3 here as well, that we're kicking back different things, because we may all agree, we may all disagree on the same cigar, so you kind of get different aspects because everybody's palate's different. I may love something that you hate, or whatever, so
yeah, but I've noticed, like, when you get into a group, sometimes people start playing off, I'm getting this cocoa note, and someone else will be like, I'm getting that. I'm like, bro, it's cool if you're not. It's cool if you're not getting it. I'm like,
yourself be influenced. Yeah.
That's it, and that's in a group setting like that, sometimes you can be, like you're not feeling the cigar, and everybody's like, oh, this is a great cigar, and you're like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a good cigar. I'm like, no, just say you don't like it. You don't like it.
I
It is
appreciate the
different.
fact that me and Chad hit everyone now, and we bring in Ryan and Justin on the videos, and we talk about this off the air as well. But we try to stick honest. And there's been times we've all agreed, but there's been sometimes, especially Ryan. We started calling him Dr. Palate because he kind of has a little bit stronger, more specific palate than the other three of us. So sometimes he'll pull something else, and we're like, I don't, but I can see why you say that because I can see it going that way, but I just can't. I can't taste it. So we try our best to stay as honest as possible, so we don't accidentally go down that group rabbit hole because it's easy to
Yeah.
do. Peer pressure will get you too.
It is. And then at certain times I'm smoking a cigar, and I've done it on camera and I've done it just personally. Jessica's got a fantastic palate, and there'll be something that I can't pick out. Like I cannot get this note, and it's driving me insane. And I'll just go get her. I go, Jessica, can you please tell me what I'm tasting? And 99% of the time, she'll hit it the first time. She's like, "Oh, you're getting whatever," and I'm like, "That's exactly what I'm getting." So she knows. She knows
I,
me.
for,
She knows cigars.
I forgot I owe you a thank you because, as I told Pat here, after watching your Steve Saka review on that Candela, which I didn't care for either, you talked about the apostate feathered serpent.
Yeah.
And so I got one and I loved it. And it's completely different than the Saka rendition of Candela. So thank you, because it was awesome.
You're welcome. And I knew I wasn't going to like that Saka, Candela. I mean, because I know he doesn't like, I know he doesn't like Candela, so I knew he was going to try his best to produce a Candela. And I knew when he posted a video like from his car and he was smoking it, and he's like, oh, even when I try, I can't make a bad cigar. Like he loved it. And I'm like, that just tells me right there I'm not going to like it because you don't like Candela. So the things about Candela that I love, you're going to try and blend out of that cigar. And he did. He blended all that out of the cigar. And
I haven't had the GFY yet. I've got the box. I've been like going in order, but saving the primary blend for last. So I've got a couple more before I get to the Candela. I haven't worked my way through. I'm kind of purposely.
So what did you do? Start at 2? Start at 2 and worked over?
Yeah. I thought about.
I like the way Kevin did it with his video. He just randomly picked them and just lit them.
Yeah, I did it blindly because because we smoke with our eyes before we smoke with our mouths. Same with we eat with our eyes before we eat with our mouths. And I didn't want to be influenced by, if by looking at it. If I knew it was going to be a Connecticut, I knew, I'm like, okay, so this is going to be a light cigar, which is not always the case. Same with that Candela. Same with and I'm still saying there was no Connecticut broadleaf in there. I could be wrong that he could have snuck one in there, but I'm saying there was no broadleaf in that GFY sampler. But we'll find out. He's doing the release this spring, so yeah. I just wanted to do it blindly, at least to start off with, and just get my initial notes of it.
Yep.
To your point, I think there was one video there that you had where you had it was a lighter wrappered cigar, and you could have swore it was a darker wrapper, but you were smoking it, blindfold. You're like, this one fooled me.
Yeah, exactly. You never know, and I used to do a lot of blind reviews, not physically blind reviews, but when I first started off, Jessica would unband a cigar for me, and then I would do, the halfway point, and then I would get the info on the cigars. And the rule was whatever she picked out, I had to smoke. That was the rule. And it really changed my palate. It forced me to start smoking cigars that I wouldn't have smoked previously, like darker cigars, like the Cohiba black, sinister looking cigar. You think it's going to be strong and powerful, and it's not. It's sweet. It's creamy. It's just smooth. A beautiful cigar, very smooth cigar. And like those cigars are the ones that blew me away. It's like, so doing that really forced my hand, and now I just smoke everything. It doesn't make any. I still don't gravitate towards Connecticut's, the lighter cigars, but I still have at least once a week I'll grab a Connecticut just to see what it's about. I got
there's a short list of Connecticut's that I I purposely go for. I'm usually darker, bolder as well. There's a few, but there's not many that I'll do it on
My
purpose.
list is getting longer. Like I'm smoking in Connecticut every day now, where I didn't used to. I'd smoke one or two a week, but now I'm smoking. There's one in my
I
diet every day now.
I went on a kick for in 2024 for probably 6 to 9 months where I was smoking to Connecticut every day, and I was really digging on them. And I don't know, something changed, and I'm just not, maybe I've just been smoking a lot of bad ones, and
Hmm.
Possibly.
but and I'm the opposite. I like a Connecticut at the end of the day. I like to wind down sometimes with a nice, smoother, creamier, mild cigar versus, some people like to end their day. I like to start my day with a powerhouse,
Oh, do
just a
you?
strong, dark, spicy cigar first thing in the morning. That's how I like getting my day going.
I grab whatever the hell's next. About the only time I purposely will line them up if I know. Like when I go on the cruise ships and we got our sea days, we're not getting off the ship. I'm not doing a damn thing. Okay, I'll line them up because of what I'm going to do that day. But most of the time, I just I walk to the humidor. Here we go. Whatever's on top or whatever I feel like grabbing next is what I go for. Wherever that lands, rocking with it. So I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to intensity and what order I smoke them in. Most of the time, I don't really have a pre-planned decision. I just walk up and whatever I see next, I want to grab out the drawers. What I'm grabbing.
I've done that for almost 2 years now. For at least one of my cigars today, I have like this miscellaneous tray in my walk-in humidor, and at one time, it easily had 500 to 600 cigars in there. I was looking today, and I'm probably down to about 150 cigars, in that miscellaneous. But I would just pick one up, and that was whatever one, I would just pick up, and I would just smoke that. And out of the hundreds of cigars that I've smoked out of that miscellaneous box, I haven't smoked one yet that made me want to buy more. That made me want to buy a 5-pack or a box. And I just find that amazing. It's like not a single cigar has made me want
Were
to
Wow.
buy more.
were those cigars you bought, Kevin, or were they stuff you picked up at trade shows and things like that? Or
Yeah, it was trade shows. Some of them were mystery samplers. Like one of those things. Some like, hey, you get like whatever 30 cigars for $20. It's our mystery grab bag. I'm like,
Right.
if I'm ordering something else, like a box of something else I liked, I'm like, I'll just pick one of those up and I just dump it in that tray and then come back to it and
You
trade
never know.
shows
You
and
might find
sample
some
it.
stuff.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna like.
oh, you give them
I,
to the lawn guy, right? Isn't he coming over
Yeah,
tomorrow?
yeah. And like I said, and I've smoked a lot of great cigars from that mystery box, but yeah, I can't think of one single one that made me want to go out and buy more.
I
But
started about a year ago, probably, or whenever that new Herf Coolador came out. And I mentioned on here before, I've got my two electrics that I put my boxes in, and I actually buy specific boxes. And I've got a couple trays in that, like I have my Dunbarton tray. I have, my Placencia tray. But the bottom two trays are nothing but when I buy sampler packs or Ellen will randomly, buy me samplers or event stuff. I'll purposely put them in the bottom and rotate them in, first out. So they get about 9 months to a year age on them. So by the time I rotate to them, I have no idea what I'm grabbing next on purpose and just kind of let it rest and then pull out. And, every once in a while I'll find one that I'll put on my list for a box. But for the most part, it's just a new cigar of the day and on to the next one. It's kind of a nice surprise when I go in there.
I've probably in the last year I have probably smoked 50 Placencia cigars. I haven't found one yet that I liked.
Really?
Liked enough to buy at least a 5-pack. Yeah, I haven't. I just don't dig on Placencia. I've had some good cigars, like just it was a good cigar, but it was nothing that blew me away. Nothing like
You
over
know,
the top. Like this is great.
I think they're consistent, and this is a good, palate differentiation. Is until very recently, my number one cigar, period, was Placencia's Alma Fuerte, the black band specifically.
That's a good cigar.
I don't jive on the green band as well, but
Yeah.
I finally had Ellen got this to me as a gift, and of course, it's a cigar that costs 3 times as much. Was El Septimo's La Bamba Orange? Finally knocked that out, but that is the one Placencia cigar that every time I think of the brand, I go to. The rest of them are consistent, but that is like my go-to with their brand is that one.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of why we do this
But they
thing.
make
We
a
talk
million different cigars because everybody doesn't
exactly,
like them, right?
Exactly.
yep,
And they make a lot of cigars for a lot of other people. So I mean,
yep,
I'm sure there are Plasencias that I love, but I don't dive deep into, every cigar that I love, who makes it, where's it made, what's it made of. If I like a cigar and I really like it, I just buy a whole box of it. Like
right,
like my number one cigar last year, the Tatuaje 10th anniversary Bel Ankh. I
yep,
have
yep.
no idea. I have no idea what's in that cigar. No idea. I don't
But
care.
you like it.
Right.
I know I like it. It's a great cigar. Don't know anything about it.
I know you smoked
So
a lot of Black Diamonds last year too, because I saw you.
oh
I kept
god,
commenting on. I love that cigar. We did
I
a
I
review
tell
on those on the show too. They're
I
good.
tell you, I mean, I can't get enough of Black Diamond from
They're
JC Newman.
That is a
fantastic.
That cigar,
fantastic cigar.
it's just an amazing. Now we were worried when they changed blends. I think like 2 years ago they changed like the design. Drew wanted to tweak that blend a little bit. And Jessica was pissed when she read that because that is one of her favorite cigars. And they came out with it. And we're like, you know what? It's actually better. Which was hard to believe because it was such a good cigar. And
Right.
but yeah, JC
Yeah,
Newman crushes
the one
it.
we did on the show right before. I think it was a show. Might have been the show right before Christmas. We did it on here, and of course it was the newer blend, and we all appreciate it. So it's still a banger cigar.
I never smoked
Yeah,
the old. I didn't start getting into JC Newman for up till about 2 years ago, and that was one I got into later. Like so I've been smoking that cigar for about a year and a half. So I've never had the old blend.
okay. Have you tried their speaking of JC Newman, I'm gonna light up the new Jose Gaspar by JC
No,
Newman.
but I've been looking at that too.
Yeah, uh what was the Perla Del Mar by JC Newman. Have you had that one?
Nope.
So
Have you had
that
that, Pat?
the Corojo,
That's what
I
I was
bet
thinking.
I bet Jessica smokes 10 boxes a year of
I
that
like
Perla
the
Del Mar
Corojo
Corojo.
probably. I think I like that one the best. What is it? The Maduro and
Yeah, the
Shade,
Maduro,
or
Maduro, the Shade, and the Corojo.
yeah,
I have all of. I mean, we only replenish the Corojo. The others are good. Just that Corojo has got that little bit of spice
it
that
does.
we absolutely love. So we're always smoking that one.
Well, gents, we are not going to stop smoking, but this is the time of the show. Got to cut it off for the podcast purposes. Um, Kevin, first of all, thanks for actually jumping on here, and a massive thank you for sponsoring the giveaway for our winter drive this time around.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you
that
very
is
much.
that is badass support, and we definitely plan on having you come back on the show. Not always to review your cigars. Sometimes we'll smoke whatever, and we've got some things planned for some just to do some shop talk and shoot the shit with friends and stuff. So we're gonna pull that around. We'll definitely bring you back on for some of those good times as well.
Yeah,
But
those are my favorite shows of just you
absolutely,
know shooting. That's why we started our new podcast. Just Karen and I, just so we can just
Puff and
shoot the
ponder. I was
shit
going to
and
talk to you about that. Yeah.
yeah, like I said, that way we don't have to talk about cigars.
Right.
and
Plug that real quick, Kevin, just so everyone out here in
Yeah.
YouTube
yeah,
So,
land
yeah, go.
knows what's going on.
Yeah, so we got the I Tapped That Cigar Show, which used to be a weekly show. So starting February 1st, it's going to be a monthly show. We're going to do one show a month. Where we'll have someone from the cigar world on, and then every week, except for that one week, we're doing the I Tapped That show. My co-host and I, Care Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars, we just do the Puff and Ponder podcast. Our tagline is "Where conversations ignite." We don't know what we're going to talk about. We don't plan anything else. We start the show, and that's
And
it.
go with it.
We just go with it and see where it takes us.
When I first started this show with a couple of buddies, I knew what we wanted to do, didn't know exactly how to do it. So I'd still tell people the first few shows. Johnny Bravo, a really good friend of mine, started them with me, and the first few shows are pretty dry because we thought we had to have a purpose, we thought we had to have a topic, and you could tell when we were trying so hard to stay on topic, and then by accident, several shows later, we went off the deep end one show, and I was like, "Shit, that's the best show we've done," and then started paying attention to some other guys doing some things. And it's like, those are the best shows that you like to watch and listen to. And guys are just having good conversations, just like you would sitting in a lounge with a group of guys. That's what intrigues you the most, is just whatever turns the coin to the next topic is what you go with. So every once in a while, we'll have a topic if there's something specific we want to bring up. But most of the time, we're just discussing whatever. And I wish I'd have started out that way, but you learn one way or another.
Whatever's better.
That's it. Whatever's better. Whatever people like. You just gotta find your way.
Well, gents, time to wrap it up, and we're gonna keep smoking once this show ends because that's just what we do. And but again, Kevin, thanks for coming out. We'll bring this back around. Chad, as always, glad you're on the show with us. And if y'all are out there in Hollow Down world, y'all know the drill. Stay safe and hollow down.
Take care.
See you.